The Swiss Alps in 1917 offered biting winds and total isolation, creating an atmosphere thick with paranoia and silence. From his residence in exile, the deposed ruler was convinced he was being watched. His family dismissed these concerns, sending letters claiming his long isolation was playing tricks on his mind and insisting that no one was spying on him. But the monarch was right. British intelligence was actively tracking his movements across Europe, going so far as to deploy the novelist Somerset Maugham to monitor his activities in Switzerland. Welcome back to The Explainer, and a special hello to our new subscribers. Today, we are unpacking how a deposed king used bureaucracy and architecture to protect his nation's identity. Abbas Hilmi II took the throne as the last Khedive of Egypt, inheriting a royal title almost entirely devoid of actual power. Egypt existed in a geographical trap, legally tethered to the declining Ottoman Empire and practically suffocated by a British military occupation that controlled the nation's finances and security. Abbas held the crown while being entirely stripped of an army or formal political dominance. The British administrators held all the tangible leverage. Conventional warfare was impossible. Instead, Abbas bypassed the military entirely and engineered an invisible bureaucratic method of resistance to protect his country's sovereignty. To see this resistance in action, we have to travel to the sun-drenched, dusty alleyways of late 19th century Cairo. Here, Abbas launched a massive push for neo-Mamluk architecture. He dedicated himself to building and restoring grand, traditional mosques in the city's newly developed areas. This architectural movement served as a calculated, physical rejection of creeping European modernism, moving far beyond mere city planning to reclaim the aesthetic of the capital. By positioning himself as a pious patron of Islamic architecture, he secured the loyalty of the Egyptian nationalist movement, anchoring the public's cultural identity in stone. His strategy shifted from physical buildings into the invisible architecture of bureaucracy, specifically through awqaf, or religious endowments. Abbas micromanaged these endowments obsessively, reviewing daily dispatches on harvest yields and judge performances to keep wealth out of British hands. He installed his personal secretary as director, a move legally blocking British interference and allowing him to manage resources without colonial oversight. Mastering the minutiae of local administration proved to be an effective, invisible shield against colonial dictates. The British fought back. Lord Cromer, the chief administrator, published serialized annual reports to systematically undermine the Khedive's reputation and highlight British financial control. Abbas responded by bankrolling a covert network of authors and journalists to dismantle the British narrative and promote a nationalist perspective. This was a hands-on operation. Abbas personally reviewed the drafts of books and articles to ensure his legacy was defended and the Egyptian army was presented with pride. Abbas realized early on that controlling the public narrative was every bit as vital as holding physical territory in the fight for sovereignty. This fragile political stalemate shattered entirely when artillery fire signaled the explosive outbreak of the First World War. When the conflict began, Abbas maintained his loyalty to the Ottoman Sultan. This gave the British the legal excuse they needed to officially strip him of his title. He was deposed and exiled to Switzerland, which brings us back to those snowy mountains, where British spies continued to shadow his movements. Abbas died in exile in 1944, without ever reclaiming his throne. His decades of bureaucratic and cultural resistance had, however, cemented the nationalist ties in public identity that would eventually challenge British rule. The reign of Abbas Hilmi II shows that sovereignty is preserved through the architecture of cities, the administration of resources, and the stories a nation writes for itself. If you found value in this deep dive, please subscribe, share this episode, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an explainer.